anybody in the audience who ever received a letter from him, knows what I'm talking about. And, so obviously when you write a letter, you're not able to use facial expressions, but he was able to use the art of the written word to really convey something. And when I lived in California in the late 90s, we became pen pals. And by the way, for the young people in the audience, a letter is kind of like a tweet. Or a Facebook
longer.
Post, but it usually has over 140 characters and there's usually punctuation. And so my dad and I started writing letters back and forth, and as we were pulling together photos and everything for this, I came across the letters, and I wanted to share a couple of things. I'm not going to share all of it, some of it. He and I. But I want to share a couple of things that he wrote because it's classic Andy. And there's some really good Andyisms in there that I wanted to share with you guys. So, pardon me for reading, and pardon me if I'm not able to get through it all, but there's some great ones here. So this one is from June 1998. And it says, "Our family has had its ups and downs. Most do unless they are exceedingly lucky or unlucky. Being an individual part of a whole forces us to make emphatic investment in all of the other members of the family. We feel their joys and sorrows as if they were our own. It's all part of being a family. We are never alone, never solitary in fact or spirit." And these are just regular letters, right? And he goes on, and then, kind of classic my dad, this letter is spilled on to another page. I don't feel obligated to fill it. Besides, I do. So here's one from 1999. And this is, I'll read it. "We've heard the good news about Georgina and Tony. It's great. Tony is a good guy, a regular fellow. Good luck to them. Picking up on your phone chat with Jeanne, I'll be pleased beyond measure to get a phone call from you to let us know that you and Jeanne are planning a life together. Please, Mike, don't be silly about waiting for better timing, more security, blah, blah, blah. If she's the gal for you, and you're the guy for her, everything will work out. Trust me. Life is not an exercise in caution. Live that way, its joy is diminished. If your heart wants to speak, let it. The rest is detail. I'd be honored to help you with the ring purchase.
Aww.
Frankly, if I were you, I wouldn't wait too long. Gals like Gina are rare. More accurately, gals like Gina who fall for guys like us are rare. I take the liberty of putting you in my genetic camp. Of course, though you carry an imbalance to the plus side from me.
Aww.
And then lastly, I think that this one kind of sums it up. Surveying the landscape of my life. This is from December 1999. So surveying the landscape of my life, I feel sincerely fortunate and grateful for the countless joys my journey has provided. I've enjoyed wonderful company along the way. I've seen and done many things and learned much of what needs to be known in order to understand the purpose of the journey. It's not what you acquire in life that counts. It's what you willingly give back. So I think, what we heard, he's a happy guy, right? He's a hopeful guy. He was helpful. He was. He was humble. And he was always great at using humor. So, something he said to me after my mom passed was, it's okay to be sad. And it is. And everyone grieves in their own way. But don't take too much time to grieve. Because you have a life to live. And we all do too. So we all have our marching orders from him. So please go forward as you would like to.
Oh,
Live on.
that's beautiful.
And actually what we'd like you to do, and I'm sure you've been doing it already, but if anyone would like to share a story about Andy with everyone, please feel free to stand up and share it. And if you're too embarrassed to share it with everyone here, share it with the people at your table, because there's a lot of good ones. Please do.
Thank you, Michael. Oh.
All I said was,
that was good.
he would always enter the room and say to me, "Hi, baby doll." I don't think I was ever called baby doll so much in my life. So it came down to the end.
Aww.
It's going to be a little rough for me, too. I got some quotes from Andy from the card game, but I can't. Boy, do I have some of those. I'm the Kinnas, and I've been friends with him. Andy was a protein person. He was eclectic. He had many facets of his life. As a matter of fact, he named his country Proteus because he didn't want to be one single thing. He wanted to be multiple things. I knew Andy from grammar school. He was a year behind me, and I just knew him as a face and nothing like that. But one day, by chance, we met on Crawford and Madison, and he said, "Hey Nick, let's go play golf. Let's go bowling." Now, if I had 50 cents in my pocket, I was considered rich at that time. But Andy had a way of getting around that. So what we did was we went to his house, and Andy decided to play golf first. So we moved all the furniture. Got this long gray rug. I don't know if Mary remembers it. But it wasn't just simple golf into a glass. He would put pillows under it. So we had a couple of shots. He said, "I'm tired of this." He said, "Let's go golfing." And again, I had no money. So we decided, well, let's do this. We went in the kitchen. We got 2 6-packs of Pepsi. Cracked them back. Poured the Pepsi in the sink, made a bowling alley after we straightened out the rug, took a 16-inch softball, rolled it down, crash, bang, everything went smashing all over the place. And I said, "This guy is great." I was goody two-shoes. You see, guy, this. Now this house has memories you can't believe. It once burned down. I don't know if you guys remember that. Andy, in his own style, got his bouzouki, which he self-taught himself to play, went out on the street, and while the firemen were fighting the fire, playing on top of Old Smoky. Nero with a sense of humor. Then we're in the altar together. Is the priest gone?
Yes. Yes.
I can't say this one. We're in the altar, and I could tell you stories. You can tell stories about Andy for hours. But when they consecrated Plato School, Andy and I were entrusted with the holy water to bless the school.
Oh boy.
So we were walking around. Yeah. So we're carrying it. Yeah, Andy was a strong guy. He said, "I could carry it down the stairs at Plato School." We proceeded to step on his robe and the holy water and all the way cascading down the stairs. And I said, "Oh my God!" And again, I'm goody two-shoes. Well, we got to go back. What they do? They'll stone us. They'll beat us, and they'll crucify us. That's all. And the thing is done. Not Andy. He cleaned it up. He went to these toilet, to these washroom, filled it with regular water, and presented it to the bishop after they came. So Andy consecrated that school.
I love it. I love it.
Payback. And Jeanne and I understand what we're talking about. This is payback. There's stories galore about the altar boys. We were thrown out. High school. I mean, Andy and I go back a long time. Many things that remind me. We used to go to Chrones' house. I remember this prayer. We used to go to Chrones' house. The 2 stories stand out. And if I try to capsulize Andy's multiple personalities and facets of his character. But one thing was football. And we were talking about this just now. He was an incredible athlete. He could run like the wind. I never saw a man run so fast. Anything he did in athletics was outstanding. And I remember one game when I think Boston was behind, And Coach Hyman went up to Andy and said, I want the Greek to get the ball. And Andy got the ball and ran it back for a touchdown, and I think we won that game. That's Andy. But more importantly, I remember our dinners together at the Kamaris' house.
Aww.
It was wonderful. In those days, we would get dressed up in suits when we were teenagers. The girls would make steaks, and we'd have Pepsi for a drink. And you know what we did? We just talked and told jokes. Nobody could tell a joke or deliver a punchline like Andy.
It's true.
So we go on to college. We went to college together, University of Illinois Navy Pier, for those that know that used to be Circle Campus before Circle Campus. And two things stand out. And again, I could go on, but number one, we took intramural boxing together. And in intramural boxing, I remember we had to get our finals, and we were graded on how well we punched and how well we parried and all that sort of stuff. And this one guy went up to Andy, and he was in the heavyweight class. He said, hey, let's take it easy on each other. And this guy got him in the ring and proceeded to pummel him in the stomach. And Andy was, that wasn't the plan. And Andy just stood back, and Carcasius and I would scream at him, cover up, cover up. And Andy just waited for his time, and he delivered a punch. And this guy was staggering. And the best way the analogy would be like a drunk looking for a penny. He was just all over the place. And then we took humanities together, and I'm so glad you shared that with me, because we had this Dr. Runyon in humanities, tough instructor, very critical. And Andy submitted some of his writings to him. And I asked Andy, please let me read what you wrote, because I loved his mind, I loved the way he thinks, it was just different. And he never shared it to me, it's part of his personality. So I'm so glad you shared that with me. And I'd like to read more. If Jeanne and the boys, if they have anything written by Andy, I would love to read it, because I love this man. So after college, we stood up for each other's wedding, and we went on and on. We went to Costa Rica together. We had wonderful times. We sort of drifted apart, but every month or so we'd call each other just to keep in touch. We'd have dinner together. It was wonderful. It was like reliving those days when we were teenagers. As a matter of fact, to sum it up, basically is this haircut. In part, this is Andy, because my grandkids shaved me, all four of them, just as a joke. But more importantly, Andy never took himself seriously. So a little bit of Andy lives in his hair. So to this wonderful friend, this incredible intellect, incredible physical ability, his wit, his charm. That's one thing we never talk about, his charm. Nobody could welcome a person, whether he knew him or met him for the first time, with that smile and that open arm. My only wish is I spend more time with the man. My only wish is that he could look at this haircut and, like you said, Michael, look at me like this, deliver something that will chop you a little bit, but make you laugh. So to this man, who I consider my dear friend, who enriched my life, and gave me all these wonderful memories I'll never forget.
Thank you, man. Oh, the slingshot?
All right, I have a good Andy story. This is one of my favorites. When he was about 9 years old. Well, I gotta identify myself. Sorry, I'm Rob. I'm Kiki Hortatsos' son. So Andy's his older sister. Passed also. But so our yaya, so Andy's mom, took him back to our little Choyo, the little village of Messi in Crete, when he was about 9 years old. I don't think he really wanted to go. He had a bit of an attitude. Pulled out of, whatever fun he could have had here in Chicago, forced to go all the way over there. So he was bored. And he had a slingshot. Well, our little village didn't get electricity or plumbing, I think, until the 60s. So this is before that. And the girls of the village had to go and refill water in big jugs that they carried on their heads. Andy, with his new slingshot, laid in wait and shot the water jugs. He thought he got away with it. He did not get away with it. He and Yaya were pulled in front of the village mayor and forced to pay back all the pots that he broke. I don't think they would have let him back in the village since then. But to me, that's kind of a classic Andy right there. He kind of made a lot of fun for himself, and I'm sure for someone else, out of nothing. I think was a part of his charm, right? That's one of my favorite names.
Thank you.
I hope to live up to that.
Jimmy Grayback?